The moment you open your mouth to explain yourself, you have already lost. Not because you're wrong, but because you've accepted someone else's authority to judge you. An accusation lands, a subtle jab, a challenge to your competence. Your instincts scream to clarify, defend, correct. And the second you do, you hand them control. Because power is never decided by truth, it's decided by frame. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power doesn't belong to the one who's right. It belongs to the one who never steps into another person's courtroom, the one who doesn't defend, the one who doesn't react. Most people live as emotional puppets pulled by opinions, accusations, and the need to be understood. There is another way, a way so calm, so detached, that attacks dissolve before they land. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of non-defense in 7 shifts, how silence flips power, how restraint destabilizes manipulators, and how to become untouchable without saying a word. But understand this: to gain this power, you must kill the need to be understood. Before we begin, drop this affirmation in the comments: I am untouchable, so your mind locks into the right mode. Let's begin. Number 1. Silence is your first weapon. The moment it happens, your body reacts before your mind does. A sharp comment, a public accusation, a sideways insult delivered with a smile. Your chest tightens, your mouth opens. You feel the urge to explain yourself right now before the story hardens against you. That urge is the trap. Machiavelli warned about this long before social media, meetings, or group chats existed. He understood a dangerous truth. The first person to defend themselves has already lost control of the frame. The moment you rush to explain, you silently agree that you are on trial. And power never belongs to the accused. Think about how attacks really work. They're not about truth, they're about pressure. The attacker throws noise into the room and waits. If you react emotionally, they win twice, once by shaking you, and again by forcing you to play their game. Silence breaks that game. When you say nothing, something uncomfortable happens. The air gets heavy, eyes shift. The attacker starts talking more, explaining more, justifying themselves. What was supposed to be your defense becomes their exposure. Most people can't tolerate that silence. They rush to fill it, they ramble, they contradict themselves, and without realizing it, they hand you information, leverage, and control. Before, you would rush to clear your name. After silence, they start questioning theirs. This is why silence feels powerful and terrifying. It removes the familiar safety net of approval. It forces you to stand still while others squirm. That discomfort, that's dominance forming. Ask yourself something uncomfortable right now. How many times have you explained yourself to people who never intended to understand you? Every unnecessary explanation teaches others that you can be pressured, that with enough noise you'll fold, that your calm depends on their approval. Machiavelli would call that a fatal weakness. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you refuse to validate false authority. You refuse to accept a role you were never meant to play. You let time do the cutting for you because time exposes intention better than words ever could. Here's the part most people don't expect. Silence doesn't just protect you, it reverses the pressure. Suddenly, they wonder what you know, why you're not reacting, whether they miscalculated. That uncertainty eats at people. Halfway through the tension, something shifts. The room recalibrates. Your stillness becomes the loudest signal present, and without lifting a finger, you've flipped the power dynamic. Before, you chased clarity. Now, they chase relief. If you feel the urge to explain, pause. Let it burn for a second. Let them sit with what they started. Notice who grows louder, who backtracks, who suddenly needs to clarify. That's the truth surfacing. Silence isn't passive, it's selective engagement. It's choosing not to bleed energy for people who haven't earned access to it. And here's the challenge that separates the untouchable from the exposed. Next time you're attacked, misunderstood, or baited, say nothing. Watch who reveals themselves first. Power doesn't announce itself. It waits. Number 2. Let accusations expose them. The accusation lands fast. Too fast. A sharp comment dropped into the room like a blade, meant to cut before you can think. Your instinct screams to correct it, to defend your name, to explain your side so people don't misunderstand you. That instinct is exactly what Machiavelli warned against. Machiavelli understood something ruthless about accusations. They are rarely about truth, they are about forcing movement. The accuser wants you to react, to scramble, to justify yourself so they can stand still and watch you weaken. The moment you rush to defend, you give them what they want. But when you don't, something far more dangerous happens. Silence doesn't protect you here, it exposes them. Watch closely what follows an accusation when it isn't answered. The accuser doesn't relax, they tighten. They add details that weren't there before. They repeat themselves. Their voice shifts, their eyes search the room. Because now the pressure is on them. Before, they were attacking. Now they're explaining. This is where most people panic and miss the power move entirely. They think silence makes them look guilty. But in reality, over-explanation is what reveals insecurity. Innocence doesn't rush. Confidence doesn't chase approval. Machiavelli would say, this is the moment the fox waits. He lets the lion roar itself tired. Think about how false accusations collapse in real life. Not because someone argued better, but because the accuser couldn't stop talking. They contradicted themselves. Their story grew emotional, defensive, excessive. Truth is quiet. Deception is noisy. Ask yourself a painful question. How many times have you talked too much just to feel safe? Every extra sentence becomes a thread they can pull. Every clarification gives them something to twist. And every emotional defense trains others to test you again. Now imagine the opposite. You stay still. You don't rush to clean the mess they created. You let the accusation hang in the air like smoke. People start noticing what's missing. Evidence, calm, consistency. And slowly, the spotlight shifts. The accuser begins to justify their tone, their timing, their motivation. They expose their own agenda without realizing it. This is why powerful people don't fight accusations head-on. They let them rot in daylight. False claims cannot survive oxygen, but they thrive on attention. Before, you were on trial. Now, they are. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means you speak last. After patterns are visible, after emotions cool, after the room already knows who lost control. Machiavelli's lesson is brutal but precise. Never interrupt your enemy while they are making a mistake. Silence forces mistakes. So the next time someone accuses you publicly or privately, resist the urge to clean it up. Let the discomfort work for you. Let their words pile up. Let others see who's pushing too hard. Then, if you choose to speak, you won't be defending yourself. You'll be concluding the story. And here's the mirror you can't ignore. If someone accuses you often, ask why they need you unstable. Accusations are bait. Stillness is the hook. Let them expose themselves. Before we move to Machiavelli's third strategy, if you're getting value from this, tap like and subscribe. It tells me to keep making videos like this. Number 3. Respond with calm detachment. The attack doesn't come loud at first. It comes disguised as concern. A sharp tone, a sideways comment, a question meant to corner you. Your pulse jumps, your chest tightens, your mind races to respond. This is the moment Machiavelli warned about. He believed the fastest way to lose power is to react emotionally on someone else's timing. Because the moment they can move your emotions, they can move you. Calm detachment is not weakness. It is dominance without noise. Most people misunderstand this. They think detachment means indifference, avoidance, or swallowing disrespect. It doesn't. Detachment means you choose when and how to engage, not them. Watch what happens when someone provokes you and you don't bite. Your face stays neutral. Your tone stays level. Your body stays still. No explanation, no defense, no heat. The room shifts. Because aggression needs friction, drama needs fuel. When you deny it emotion, the attacker feels exposed, like someone swinging at air. They expected resistance. They expected tension. They expected control. Instead, they meet silence wrapped in calm. This is deeply unsettling to people who rely on reaction. Their words lose momentum. Their confidence wavers. They often escalate not because you're weak, but because they're losing grip. That escalation tells everyone watching exactly who lacks control. Here's the uncomfortable truth most never accept. Emotion reveals position. Detachment conceals it. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't advise rulers to be loud or expressive. He advised them to be unreadable. Because when others can't read you, they can't predict you, and unpredictability is power. Think of how often you've regretted a reaction. The sharp reply, the defensive tone, the explanation you gave too soon. Now imagine the alternative. You pause. You listen. You respond with fewer words than expected, slower, calmer, colder. Not rude. Not submissive. Controlled. The attack loses shape. The narrative slips from their hands. Here's a question that should sting a little. Who benefits when you lose your calm? It's never you. Calm detachment forces others to reveal their intent. Are they seeking truth or dominance, resolution or reaction? Detached calm turns conversations into mirrors. And here's the paradox most people miss. When you stop emotionally defending yourself, people start defending you. Because confidence doesn't argue, it observes. This doesn't mean you never act. It means you act after clarity arrives, not while emotions are trying to hijack you. Machiavelli's strategy wasn't about cruelty, it was about control. Internal first, external second. So next time pressure rises, lower your voice, slow your words, detach your emotions from the moment. Let them feel the imbalance. Because when you stay calm under pressure, you don't just survive the attack, you quietly reverse it. Number 4. Never correct the story. The moment you rush to correct a story about you, something subtle breaks. Your voice tightens. Your posture shifts. Your words come faster than they should. And everyone watching feels it, even if they can't explain why. Machiavelli understood this instinct centuries ago. He warned that those who scramble to clarify appear uncertain, and uncertainty invites pressure. When you correct the story too quickly, you signal that the story has power over you. Most people don't realize this. Someone misrepresents your words. A rumor spreads. An accusation floats into the room. Your first impulse is to fix it, to explain, to clean the air. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Stories gain strength when you chase them. When you correct the narrative, you confirm it matters. You step into a frame you didn't choose. And once you're inside that frame, you're already playing defense. Machiavelli advised leaders to resist this trap, not because truth is unimportant, but because power decides when truth is revealed. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the most respected people rarely rush to explain themselves? They don't clarify every misunderstanding. They don't chase every rumor. They let silence do the filtering. Because silence forces observers to ask a different question. Not, is this true? But why aren't they worried? That question works in your favor. When you don't correct the story, people begin to test it against reality, against your actions, against your consistency, and weak stories collapse under their own weight. Here's where most people fail. They think silence equals guilt. It doesn't. Silence equals confidence in outcome. It says, I don't need to manage perceptions in real time. Time is on my side. That's dangerous in the best way. Machiavelli knew perception shapes power, but obsession with perception destroys it. The ruler who explains too much appears insecure. The one who withholds explanation appears grounded. Ask yourself this and be honest. How many times have you over-explained only to feel smaller afterward? That feeling isn't accidental. It's your intuition noticing a power leak. When you stop correcting the story, something unexpected happens. People start projecting their own conclusions, and most of the time, those conclusions are more favorable than anything you could have scripted. Because certainty attracts certainty. This doesn't mean lies go unchecked forever. It means you choose the moment, not the rumor. You let time, behavior, and consistency speak first. Words come later, if they come at all. Here's the quiet shift. Before, you rush to explain. You justify. You feel exposed. After, you stay composed. You move forward. The story chases you and fails to catch up. Machiavelli would tell you this. The one who controls when they speak controls how they are perceived. So, the next time a false narrative forms around you, pause. Resist the urge to correct it. Let your silence create pressure, because the story that needs defending is rarely the one worth correcting. Number 5. Make them prove it. The accusation lands without warning. A raised eyebrow. A loaded sentence. A claim with no evidence, only tone. Your instinct says, defend yourself. Explain, clarify, prove you're right. Machiavelli would tell you to do the opposite. He understood a dangerous truth most people never learn. The moment you start proving yourself, you accept a lower position. You signal that you owe clarity, that you stand on trial, that their words carry authority. They don't. Power shifts the instant you refuse to carry the burden. When someone accuses without proof, they're not seeking truth, they're testing leverage. They want you emotional, reactive, busy, explaining instead of observing. So you don't argue. You don't deny. You don't rush to defend. You wait. And you do something far more unsettling. You let the silence hang just long enough to make them uncomfortable. Then, calmly, you invite evidence. Not aggressively, not sarcastically, without emotion. Just enough to shift gravity. Because now the weight is no longer on you. It's on them. Most accusations collapse at this point. Not because they're false, but because they were never meant to withstand scrutiny. They were meant to provoke movement. And when you don't move, the structure falls apart. Machiavelli warned rulers never to chase rumors or answer every charge. Why? Because chasing makes you look uncertain. Stillness makes you look secure. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. How often have you exhausted yourself explaining, only to realize no one was listening anyway? That exhaustion isn't from effort. It's from misdirected power. When you make them prove it, you expose intent. Those with truth will present facts. Those with manipulation will deflect, repeat, escalate, or retreat. Either way, you win clarity. Here's what changes internally. Before, you feel cornered. Your thoughts race. Your energy drains. After, you're steady. You're watching. They're scrambling. That reversal is everything. This doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means you respect hierarchy and you don't assume the lower one. There's a subtle confidence in not rushing to clear your name. It signals that your reputation isn't fragile, that time and consistency work for you, not against you. Machiavelli believed power lies in framing reality, and nothing reframes faster than forcing others to support their claims. Because when someone must prove their words, they reveal their strength or lack of it. So next time someone challenges you without substance, resist the urge to defend. Refuse to over-explain. Let them step forward. Let them carry the weight, because the one who proves is rarely the one in control. Number 6. Build a reputation that defends you. Before anyone speaks for you, your reputation already has. That's the part most people forget. Machiavelli understood this early. He believed that the strongest defense isn't an argument, it's a pattern. Because when your behavior is consistent, calm, and disciplined over time, accusations bounce off before they land. Think about how people react when a rumor starts. If the target is known for chaos, excuses, emotional swings, the story sticks. If the target is known for precision, restraint, results, the story struggles to breathe. That difference isn't luck, it's design. A reputation is built quietly, not through speeches, not through explanations, through repetition. How you show up when no one is watching. How you respond when provoked. What you do and refuse to do, consistently. Most people try to defend themselves after damage appears. Machiavelli would call that desperation. He believed smart operators build a presence so solid that attacks feel out of place. Ask yourself this, and don't rush the answer. If someone accused you today, would people pause or pile on? That pause is power. Here's where things shift. When your reputation is grounded, you don't need to chase every claim. You don't need to correct every lie. People around you start doing that work without being asked. not because they're loyal, but because the accusation doesn't match what they've observed. And humans trust patterns more than words. This is why calm matters, why restraint matters, why refusing to overreact matters. Every moment of control deposits into a silent account. Over time, that account pays interest. Machiavelli warned against appearing too eager to appear innocent. Why? Because innocence that must be announced feels unstable. Innocence that is assumed feels unshakable. There's a sharp contrast here. Before, you rush to explain. You justify actions. You feel exposed. After, you let behavior speak. You stay consistent. Others hesitate before doubting you. That hesitation protects you more than any defense ever could. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. You can't build this reputation while trying to be liked. Approval chasing erodes credibility. Consistency builds it. This doesn't mean being cold. It means being predictable in values and unpredictable in reaction. People should know what you stand for, but never be able to pull you into noise. That balance creates authority. So when someone challenges you publicly, the room doesn't look at you first. It looks at them. That's the real defense. Machiavelli believed power is maintained not by constant force, but by expectation. When people expect you to be steady, disciplined, and composed, accusations feel misplaced before you ever speak. And often, you won't need to. Because the strongest reputation doesn't argue. It watches, and it lets others realize they chose the wrong target. Number 7. Walk away untouched. There's a moment most people miss. It comes after the accusation, after the tension, after the silence stretches long enough to make the room uncomfortable. This is where power makes its final move. Machiavelli believed the ultimate dominance isn't winning the argument, it's ending the game entirely. Because most people stay too long. They linger in conversations that drain them. They engage in conflicts that offer no person who can walk away without explanation controls the outcome. Upside. They wait for closure that never comes. And every second they stay, they give away leverage. Walking away untouched is not avoidance, it's selection. You're not escaping pressure, you're deciding it doesn't qualify for your attention. That distinction matters. Think about how rare this is. Someone challenges you, provokes you, pushes for a reaction. Instead of pushing back, you disengage. No anger, no justification, no final word, just withdrawal. It confuses people deeply, because most confrontations are built on expectation. They expect resistance, they expect explanation, they expect emotional payment. When they get none, the structure collapses. Machiavelli understood this dynamic well. He warned rulers not to fight every battle because unnecessary conflict reveals insecurity. True power conserves itself. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. How many times have you stayed in a situation just to prove something? That urge is ego, not strength. When you walk away untouched, you deny others the satisfaction of influence. You show that their opinion doesn't shape your direction. And that does something powerful to the hierarchy in the room. Before, they press. You engage. Energy drains. After, they press. You exit. Control remains intact. Silence follows you not because you were defeated, but because nothing stuck. Here's what most people never realize until it's too late. You don't need the last word to win. You need the last position. Walking away preserves position. It tells observers you're operating on a different level, that you're not emotionally invested in proving anything, that you trust you're standing enough to leave it unquestioned. That kind of confidence doesn't announce itself. It's felt. Machiavelli would say, this is where fear and respect quietly form, not through threat but through absence. When people realize they can't pull you into chaos, they stop trying. And when they stop trying, you're free. This doesn't mean disappearing from responsibility. It means disappearing from manipulation. You stay present where value exists. You leave where it doesn't. That discernment is power refined. So, the next time a situation offers nothing but noise, don't argue, don't defend, don't explain. Leave. Let the silence follow you. Because the one who walks away untouched is the one no longer within reach. The shift ends here. You reclaim your energy. You seal the leaks in your soul. You step out of the child's role and into the sovereign's. The world will try to pull you back. It will provoke you. It feeds on reaction. Don't give it one. Keep your mystery. Keep your silence. Keep your power. If this philosophy resonates with the darker, disciplined part of you, the part that's done performing, then you already know what to do. Subscribe. But not because I asked you to. Subscribe because you're finished living as prey in a world of predators. If you haven't watched my previous video, Never Explain Yourself, Power Dies There, you're missing the foundation that makes these rules actually work. Think of this video as strategy. That one is your armor. You'll find it linked below and on the end screen.